What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to increase your sales by over 35% using the best posturing strategies to close more business. I'm Brian Mayoral, former national speaker and #1 sales trainer for the Tony Robbins. And in this video, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to teach you the strategies that have helped me break records for the #1 success brand in the world. Are you ready to dig in? Are you ready to get those sales to the next level? All right, let's get after it. So what are postures? Postures are different roles that you might be playing, different power roles that you play during an influencing process. And during that influencing process, you're going to want to use these different postures in order for you to ethically persuade or influence the other human being. It's important to note that not one of these postures is more important than the other. However, depending on the type of sale or where you're at in the sales cycle, you may use different postures more so than others. And so I want to also note that you cannot be, as you can see, I put the postures up here. There are 3 postures. There's inferior posture, neutral posture, and then superior posture. 2 people during an influencing process, let's say I was influencing you right now, 2 people cannot be in the same posture at the same time, except for the neutral posture. And I'm going to go through each one of these steps here in a second. But the best way to look at this is this. If you're in an inferior position, that automatically defaults the other person across from you in a superior position. If you're in a superior position, that's going to automatically default the other person into an inferior position. And so let's dig into the first one, inferior position. Now, most people hear the word inferior and they think that they're less than. However, using the inferior posture can be very, very valuable if you're talking to someone who naturally defaults as more of a shy or skittish type person. You would want to go into the inferior position to put them into a buying state of emotion. See, most people say yes, or they purchase, or they buy when they are in a buying emotion, which is typically a neutral or superior emotional state. So if you want to get your client into a neutral or superior emotional state, you may want to default to the inferior. And you might be asking yourself, well, how do I default to the inferior? Indicators that you or someone else is in an inferior position, they may say, if, maybe, I don't know, I think, and their body language may be uncertain. That's when you see some people like start to scratch or start to fidget or start to waver side to side or look away. If they're doing that, there's an indication that they are feeling inferior in that moment. Likewise, if you are trying to be in the inferior position and put your client into a superior position, you can start the words, well, I don't know, maybe. The best way to do it is to self-deprecate in a way where it's not going to ruin the deal. You may say something like this. You know, I know I'm not the brightest tool in the shed. You must, because you went to school X, Y, and Z, you must be incredibly smart. You know, I've had to work really hard to get to where I'm at. That's a way of kind of self-deprecating to give the other person an elevated position so they feel powerful in the moment. Does that make sense? I bet you right now you can think about someone in your life, maybe it's you, who sometimes defaults to an inferior position, meaning that they want to be led. A way of looking at this is if you were in a classroom and you were the student and the teacher or the instructor is the one passing along information to you, you by default would be in an inferior position. It doesn't mean that you're not a smart person. It doesn't mean that you don't have your own skills, but it means for that moment in time, in that scenario, you are allowing the other person to lead. So the second position that I want to talk about today for you is the neutral position. Now, this is the magical position. This is the position during the sales process you want to be in by default. The neutral position is the only position in which 2 people can stay in the same posture at the exact same time. Think about this. If you were going out with your friends to grab coffee or grab dinner or lunch, some bite to eat, you by natural default are going to be in a neutral position because you're speaking to a group of your peers. You're not being led and you're not following, you're just talking openly as yourself. That's why it's so powerful of a posture, because this is an indication that the other person across from you is feeling comfortable and they trust you. You'll especially want to use the neutral posture during the beginning and middle part of the sales cycle. I'll give you a scenario. Have you ever had a friend call you to go to a concert or a comedy show, and they call you up and they say, hey, my name's Brian, so we'll just use me. Hey, Brian, do you want to go to this concert? It's going to be next Thursday. And you say, absolutely, no questions asked. You didn't ask who's driving, how much it's going to cost, who's the designated driver. You didn't ask any of those questions because you trust your friend's judgment. And because you trust your friend's judgment, you default into a neutral position and you allow yourself to be influenced by that person. Does that make sense? And so ways that you can use neutral positioning is you can use language like we, us, together, partnership, let's work on this. And those collaborative words are shown to increase your ability to get a sale by over 35%. Just using collaborative words throughout the sales cycle will allow you to get more people across the finish line, allow you to close more business. So you're going to want to make sure that if all fails and you don't know which posture to be in, you're going to want to default to your neutral posture. And that leads me to the third posture, superior. Now, I know some of you gung-ho type A people are like, I want to be in superior position all the time. And I would beg of you to use this one with discretion. This should be the one that you use the least. And here's why. When's the last time that you like being told what to do? When's the last time that you like being wrestled into something? When's the last time that you like being forced to do something? You see, in today's modern world, we're living in an open society. The superior position is the one that most of the junior sales reps that I work with use. And honestly, it's the ones that a lot of people who grew up in the 1980s, the 1990s, and early 2000s were taught to use all the time. They were taught to use closing techniques all the time and to be in a superior position. But that doesn't work in the 2021, 2022, 2023 because that superior position comes off as an authority for millennials and people of a younger generation. In addition to that, it is one of the most powerful postures to use when needed. You're going to want to use a superior position to eliminate indecisiveness during the closing process. So if you have a client that likes to be led, let's just say that you're at a car dealership. I've never sold cars, but if I did sell cars, let's just say that Sarah comes in and she's looking for a minivan or a van so that she can drive her kids around and her husband can drive the kids around to different sporting events. They have 3 kids. And at the end of the sales cycle, she's like, I really want to buy a car and I really know that I want to walk away with a car today, but I don't know which one to go for. Did you hear the language, I don't know? You see her body language? In that situation, she's asking to be led. If you have massive trust and massive rapport with the client, you are going to want to guide them in a superior posture. You're going to say, use their language and their value props for them. Example A, Sarah, I know that you came in today to get a car. And I know that it's important to you, according to what you told me, that you have extra leg room, that you have automatic doors, and that you have more space to fit all the sports equipments, and your husband's a little bit messy, so you want something that's got a little bit more space for him. Is that right? Yes. Okay, going based off of what you told me, the XL model is going to be the best model for you. Now that model is going to run for about X amount over the basic model, but I think over the next 3 to 6 years, as you're using this car, you plan to use it for the next 3 to 6 years. Is that right? Okay, yes. I think the value that you're going to get not having to stuff things in storage bins on top, having to buy all the extra accessories, and giving your husband a little bit more leg room and so he's not so messy and dirty in the car is the best option for you. Now, when would you like to make a move on this? Are you going to be using this financing term or this financing term? You see, in that situation, Sarah wanted to be led, and you took the superior position as the expert in your field, but you didn't try to over-dominate her. You used her value props in a way to ethically influence her using her language. Do you follow what I'm saying? And so again, words of superior position are like I, you're going to want to, this is the best route for you, absolutely this one. It's a more certain position. Now, what did we go over today? We went over postures. There are 3 postures. There's inferior, neutral, and superior. The neutral position is the only position in which 2 people can hold at the exact same time. In addition to this, we went over that you probably are going to want to default at a neutral position for the most part of the sales cycle, especially during the rapport and during the middle part of the sales cycles where you're getting to know someone. It's like talking to a friend. And to increase your sales, you're going to want to use collaborative words like we, us, together, partner. Those collaborative words are going to increase your sales by over 35%. Inversely, if you use words like I, must, words in which you are coming off too authoritative, you run the risk of decreasing your ability to get the sale by 35%. So I know that this was valuable for you, and if you want more content like this and you want to break sales records, you want to be the best in your field, then here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to subscribe using the button below. Subscribe using the button below. I'm going to be posting videos like this all the time. Every subscription that I get gives me more motivation to put these out there. I got a ton of free content. I got over 50 of these types of videos that I'm lined up for you. So hit that subscribe button below. And then in the comment section below, you can go to different links to find me on other social platforms. And I have some free prospecting tools for you as well. So go click the link below, go subscribe, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Remember, stay neutral.